All right, all right. Welcome everyone on the John Constantine podcast, episode number 3. We have special guest Keith Gereghty. He's been in real estate for, I think you said since 2017, right, Keith?
That's right.
Awesome, awesome. Keith, welcome on the podcast. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Can you let us know a little bit about your real estate story and how you got started and back in 2017?
Yeah, I'll be glad to tell you. It's a little convoluted. I was interested into real estate for a long time when I was much younger, and me and another buddy during the '90s had decided let's just take a couple of courses, go to those weekend seminars, things like that. And we put in a lot of work, and we did a couple of deals, and we made some okay money, but we were talking and we were like, well, we're making more money at our jobs. And is this worth it? And we made the horrible decision of going back to our jobs, which we still had. So I did. I was in freight logistics for about 20 years. And then we got bought in 14. I was in management at the time, so I got a cut of the equity, which was great.
Nice.
Then, well, what do I do now? And I was talking to my father, and he said, why don't you look at a franchise? I was like, okay, well, I definitely don't want McDonald's, so let me see what's out there. And I was going through the list that they had here in Georgia, and I came across Homvestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people. And I said, I didn't know they were a franchise. Let me look into it. And so I did my due diligence for about 6 months. I talked to them. I decided to go ahead and join. They do an intensive background, so check on you because you are going into people's homes, and having a super predator going into somebody's home is probably
all right.
But I passed. There you go. And so in March of 17, that's when I started. And Homvestors is a cash buyer for the most part. We buy homes and we renovate them, and either we keep them as rentals or we sell them on the open market. And it's a niche market. Most people that call us don't need us. I've had people call me and say, I just did $50,000 worth of rehab on my house. Why don't you come down and make me an offer? I was like, why? You've already done the work. That sounds like it needs to go into the market.
Right.
And so I tell them that, and we go to their homes. And our territory is like 28 counties around Atlanta. So it can be close or it can be a long way. I'm finishing up renovating over in Tallapoosa, Georgia, which is about 5 miles from Alabama. And that's an hour and a half from me, one way. So going out there, checking on the progress, coming back 4 or 5 hours, it's just like, that's not real productive for me. I'd hire a project manager, but I'm just not that busy where I'm just got tons of homes and he's constantly driving. So I'm having to deal with that right now. But I kind of got off what I was talking about.
All good.
So I got into Homevestors, really enjoyed it. A lot of great people in the what we call the ad council down here in Georgia. Made a lot of good friends there. And, it's not quite the community that is in, Sub 2 or Gator, but it's, it's okay. It's good. And I'm not unhappy with it. Then in, what was that? January, February of 21, I got a call out of the blue from Caroline Kane, which I don't think you know who she is. She works over in the Sub 2 community.
I do not.
She was doing dispo, and she had some homes, and she was kind of new from Atlanta. She was still out in Arizona. So I was trying to help her, but none of the houses made sense to me because I was still in Homvestor mode. She was going like, oh, yeah, we're going to do hybrid deals and hybrid Sub 2. And I'm like, you lost me. I don't know what you're talking about. So she pointed me in the right direction. I started listening to Sunday Service at the time. It's now Get Creative on Sunday on the podcast.
Nice.
And I was driving down to Florida because we were having our midterm convention. And I thought, well, here's plenty of time. Let me go ahead and start. So I started on the first one that he had. I thought, man, that's really good. And I listened to it for 8 hours going down to Florida. And all I could think of during the convention was, I wish I was listening. Because he used to be
nice.
He used to be
really. I did
Yeah.
not know that. Wow.
Yeah, that's what Caroline said. It's like, yeah, he used to be an Homevestors. And I'm just trying to remember if I didn't bump into him, unfortunately. It'd be great if we were best buddies or something. But,
Right.
I think there was like 1,500 franchises. And then he, started sub two and went out on his own. And obviously he's done great. And August, I joined. And so that was what brings me here. And it's kind of a trip, man. It's he gives in the community gives so much. It's just not like anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen promises, I've gone to classes, but this is a whole nother animal. I'm very happy with it. So I'm still learning and growing, and everyone else is too. I think when I started, I think there were about 21 or 2,500 people in it.
Wow. Yeah. I don't even. Yeah.
It's like, they say like success looks like this. You go along and sudden zoom, you go up, and that's what's happening. And so that's my story.
Nice. Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, and you're right. You're right. One of the cool things about this is the community, right? And doing things such as what we're doing right now, and creating these little podcasts and getting out of our comfort zones to become better people and collaborating, just like the little bits and pieces that you share with me before this call. And just helping each other out. I think I said before this call, the putting good out there and good coming back. And I feel like that 100% with this group, because everybody's willing to help each other out, and it always comes back. So I was curious about the home, like you're talking about with the home investors. So I ended up having a lot of success in my real estate story with, I remember it, this postcard that I got from home investors, and it had like a picture of a house, and it had, every little thing on the house where it could be wrong. Right. So it had like, foundation, $5,000 repair, right? Paint, $4,000 repair, AC unit, $4,000 repair, roof, $12,000 repair, right? And it had it all on this postcard. And I was like, man, like they would send that to people that needed to sell their house, right? And the whole thing is, don't pay all of these repair costs, just sell it to us as is, right? So I duplicated that. I used that as some inspiration to create my own little postcard, and I used a house that I ended up buying, and I did that same thing, and I shot it out to a bunch of people and ended up getting a house that way. But that was my little home investor stuff. But yeah, so you've been in, and you've been in since you said 2017, and so how many properties have you been through so far?
Let's see here. I don't have a count. This year, last year I had a very good year, and I had about 12 homes, and I renovated all of them.
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
Yeah.
But the market's awesome. Let's do it. And so me and my contractor got to work, and I ended up okay. I got bid on one house because I bought it just as things were here, and then closed, things were here. And somebody in the same subdivision who had a house just like the one I was going to wholesale. I was like, I'm wholesaling this one. No problem. It's out the door. I'm getting good money on it. They sold it for a lot less than
Don't you love how that works?
Calculating in my mind.
Yeah.
And plus theirs was already renovated, which my mind was boggled. I'm like, what's going on? So that totally poisoned the well. I did find a buyer. I did get my butt kicked. It happens. So last year was a little wild. This year it started off slow, then it picked up, and now it's kind of slowing down a little bit. But and I'm getting a lot of we get a lot of people calling us that don't need us. 99% of the people in the country aren't going to ever need us. It's just for the people. and we deal with people who usually it's the situation. It's not even the house. I've bought homes that were perfectly fine. Maybe some paint, maybe some new flooring,
Yeah.
Maybe new appliances. I mean, that's not much.
Right.
But yeah, we deal with a lot of homes that need extensive work, but it's the situation. Mom and dad live in Georgia. They're older. They need to go live with their son in Arkansas. The son called me, hey, I'm going to be down here on this weekend. Come by, give us a fair price. We'll sell it because, they're moving back to Arkansas with me. Divorces, death, things like that. So it's the situation more than the house. And if they don't have a reason to sell to me, they're not going to. And I tried to dissuade them from me coming down. We're talking on the phone. They just want an offer. They want an offer. And I have I say, hey, if they invite me down, I go, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're pretty far out. And there's no guarantee. I'm not going to try and force them to do anything. Nobody can force anyone to sell a house. It's just not. And I wouldn't want it to be immoral and unethical.
Yes.
So I've taken some Sandler training, which I highly recommend. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sandler training.
I have not.
It is good. It's very good training because it gets to the root problem, because the problem is never really the problem.
Right.
Except when another investor was telling me he was at this house and he was meeting with this gentleman and the house was in great shape. And he told him, I don't think, you really need me. You should let me put it on the market. And he's like, no, I just really need to get rid of it. And turns out when they go to this upstairs, there's a room with the door closed. And he's like, we can't go in there. And turns out his son had, passed away in that bedroom. And that was the issue with the house. And, he just wanted out.
Yeah.
And I believe that investor was able to help him, get through it and get out of there, help him with the moving expenses and, help having a crew come over and help him sort through things like that. Because, everyone is fighting a secret war that nobody else knows about.
Right. 100%.
Sandler will help you get through that. And if we can help them, great. If we can't, we're just
Yeah. And I share that too with anybody that I can't help. Like, hey, in any way, like if I don't buy their house, if any way I can help you, just reach out and I'll do my best to make sure that happens. So I like that. I'm curious on how the marketing works there at Homvestor. I know, like I said before, I've noticed I've gotten those Homvestor postcards, right? Yeah. And I've seen the billboards, right?
Right.
So how does it typically work there?
Okay. Well, of course, the name of the company is called Homvestors, but people don't know that. All they know is, oh yeah, the caveman.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm the caveman guy. How it works is we have an ad council here in Atlanta. We got about 35 members, and we pay for the advertising. National kicks in. And if one guy pays, say, X amount of dollars, he'll get so many leads. If another guy pays more, he'll get more leads. And so you can do as few or as many as you want. We have some guys down here spending crazy money, but they're also getting, they've got a system set up to handle that. I'm one person, so I could not handle 100 calls in a month.
Right.
Or 50 calls in a month. I could barely handle 30 in a day. And you're just like, oh my God, I can't do this. So our marketing, we actually have an internal marketing department. They do a very good job. And so they handle that. They like to get feedback from us. We're one of the largest markets, us, Houston, LA, California. I don't have those guys in California because a house my size, which is a cookie cutter 3.2, that's probably 1,700 square feet. I don't know what that'd sell in California, but it's probably going over 500,000.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
right.
How can that be? It just so that's how we do it. And so we have professionals kind of handling that in. And we were talking about SEO earlier, and they got involved in that because we were saying, why aren't we doing SEO? And they're doing some other things with texting, and they're getting a little more innovative. But overall, they do a good job. Does that answer that question?
Nice. Yeah, definitely. So it's more of like a split between all of the members there in that area,
right?
And how much you pay is how many, compared to everybody else, is how many leads. It's kind of split percentage wise that way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so basically where Homvestor stops is they'll get you those leads, and then you're able to do whatever you would please with the situation, like however you're going to dispo the property.
Yes. Sometimes this is how we're split up. We're all franchises. So I have my own LLC, Freedom Realty Solutions.
Oh, okay.
And then it's up to us. If somebody calls me, I could say, like, you know what, I'm not in the mood to go see your house. Have a nice day. But, that'd be kind of dumb because we are
right.
Be opening a McDonald's and saying, like, oh, we just don't feel like making Big Macs today.
Yeah.
Sorry, come back tomorrow. They're not coming back tomorrow. So that's how that works. Let's see. And I'm sorry, can you repeat that question again? Because we got a little bit off track.
So the disposition of the properties.
Okay. Dispo, yeah. It's up to us. Like I said, I was talking about Sandler training. I did that outside. That's not something that's done internally. I've been in the President's Club 3 times, and I'm not going to renew again because I'm like, 6 years, dude. If I don't know by now, I'm great at it because it's just, it's a Rubik's cube of getting to the truth, and some people just pick it up like that, and they just, they're just able to figure out what's going on. And I'm still like, I'll get to it, but it's not going to be pretty. In Dispo, like I said, we can either assign it to another Homvestor, assign it to another outside investor. And that's what we call it when we say, like, hey, look, I'm just going to assign you the contract. That's what we call it. I know other people call it wholesaling. But,
I wanted to bring that up. Can you go into a little bit about that? You mentioned before the difference between wholesaling and assigning.
Yeah, internally we can assign, and that's basically just giving this person the rights to buy the house. Then wholesaling is where we will actually purchase the house. We'll go in there, we'll clean it out. If there's a hole in the roof, we'll patch it. We'll take care of some of the scarier things that other investors might be a little concerned about, especially the newer ones. And then we'll get that sold without, doing it. But of course, we have to incur the cost of, actually closing on it, getting a loan, things like that. But it also doesn't put you under pressure. Like, okay, we want to close in 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Doesn't always work that way, but we can close in about 2 or 3 weeks. And I've been working with the same closing attorney since I started.
So is there a reason why? So it's kind of, there's a lot going in my mind here. What would be the benefit of doing the wholesale route between that and assigning? And then also to follow up on that, is that kind of like wholetailing, but no, because you're not listing it after you buy it?
No, we're listing it.
Okay, you are. So would you consider that the same as the wholetailing, or at least that lingo?
No, it's not. It's different. Here's the difference. Wholesaling, you can say I've got a property and I'm calling other investors, other Homvestors. Nobody's really interested in it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're wanting to discount it more than
I might
as well just give it to you. The benefit to wholesaling is I control the property now. I can list it on MLS. I use a third party broker here, Click It Realty in Atlanta. They're a flat fee, and for $3.99 they'll list it for 6 months, and I can put it up there. I've heard stories of some guys that have, gotten homes under contract and then automatically just listed it. And, I have the sellers calling like, why is my home for sale?
Right.
Well, I thought you were buying. So that kind of eliminates that part. And plus it gives you a little more freedom. Like maybe you don't sell it in a month but the next month somebody comes in and they see the value and they take it and you don't have to sweat. Assignments are all about time. I got to get it done. And wholesaling, like I said, if it doesn't work or you can't get the price you want, I've got a townhome near Stone Mountain Village, about a half a mile away, maybe even a quarter mile away. Decent area, desirable area, close to Memorial Drive, close to I-285, close to Decatur, Georgia, close to downtown Georgia. And, I bought it and I was going to wholesale it, but the prices I was getting were just not good. So we're starting renovation next week. And so I have that option. And then we'll spend a month renovating it because there's really not much to do. It's a 1.5 bath. And then I'll sell it and I'll make some good money on it. I was it appraised for like 185.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it well within the numbers. And, the highest price I got was 100. I'm like,
wow.
I want you to make money on it, but 100? That doesn't make sense. It's like they didn't understand. An agent had called me and I don't think she understood all the expenses that are incurred when you buy a property and then you have to turn around and then sell the property because now I got to pay the agent and now I got to pay, some other things, concessions. Everyone's asking for concessions now. Hey, can you pay $5,000 or even $10,000 of the closing costs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're back to that. Last year, people weren't asking for that. Now they are. So, people think, investors are making this and it's more like that because they don't know about the other costs. They're not educated and they shouldn't be. All they see is the big spread. You bought it for this, you sold it for that. Wow. Yeah. And I wish it was wow.
What do you think that after repair value is on that property?
When I bought it, I got it. They appraised it. My lender appraised it for 185.
Gotcha.
So and I like to stay under 300.
Yeah,
that's really the sweet spot for Homevestors. Affordable housing. They're not making it anymore around Atlanta, and even at these current interest rates, if you're under 300,000, preferably like 275 or 250, people can still swing that. But when you get up to 300, 315, 3.25, 350, all of a sudden it's like, this is just taking too much of our income. We can't afford it. We can't get a loan.
Yeah.
And that's not what I want to do. People think we want to buy the most expensive homes. I mean, I've had homes offered to me that were like $1 million, literally.
Yeah.
No, because just doing the renovation, just the interior paint is just.
Oh yeah.
It's just going to be massive, and so that's what I like: cookie cutter homes for families or individuals looking for their first home.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's it's interesting there because I know a lot of the properties you buy, you end up doing the renovations on. Is that what you said? Right?
Yeah, last year I did all of them.
Yeah.
Right. All of them, and I was crazy. I was driving all over the place. I mean, my days were just very, very busy. And this year I've done a few and I've assigned a few. I did buy a couple of homes subject to, and
nice.
Made some good money on a condo over in Douglasville. The reason why I didn't keep it is I wasn't really happy with the community leadership over there. The HOA running it, they were doing a good job. And I was like, I don't want to be in a place that's going to go downhill, or maybe it'll come back. I mean, it's possible, but I just took the money and ran. And then the Tallahassee house I got, that one my budget on it was a lot less than it's actually going to be. And there were some problems. So we had to get some big
That's ones. Always fun.
Yeah. So we're done. I'm going to go out there for my blue tape inspection tomorrow. And Wrap it up on Friday, and then Oscar can get over to Stone Mountain on Monday or Tuesday and start working out there.
Nice. So have you established a bunch of relationships with different contractors, and that's how you're able to get those done, especially 12 in 1 year?
Yeah. I know I have contractors. I'm always looking for new ones because sometimes they disappear or they get injured or they just go to another job. There's 3 levels. Actually, I took a course from Rehab Depot, and it was very good. If you're going to do renovations, you really need to know what you're doing. That's why I took the course, because at the time I didn't know what I was doing. And I was still doing okay, but I thought there's got to be an easier way. So the contractors, you've got to always keep a lookout for. So right now I've got a good electrician, good plumber. Oscar's my main man. He's got people they can bring in. He can do quite a bit, but he can't do it all. And, these contractors, some of them will, what do you like to do? What can you do? I can do everything. That's a lie. You can't do everything, So I ask him, like, well, what do you like to do?
Right. Yeah. I always say that. Yeah.
Yeah. You like to do carpentry. Great. What else? Oh, you like to do tile. Okay. And maybe one other thing. So when I need one of those, I call them, but you got to keep looking for them. But yeah, right now I'm doing fine. I'm keeping Oscar busy, and he's making good money, and I appreciate it. We're, every now and then there's still a little communication gap as far as what my expectations are. I keep telling him, like, everything has to look nice, and, no code violations, and the paint has to be good. Somebody's buying this house, and I don't know what kind of person. Somebody might come in here and not notice anything. There could be a gaping hole in the wall and they wouldn't notice. Or other people are going to be real picky. I'm like, I can't afford to miss somebody looking to buy the house because, this wall is only one coat and all the rest of them are 2 coats. And, we can't buy this house now. And it's like, let's just make sure everything's done. I thought about bringing in an inspector before I list it, just to see, what am I missing? And, he might say, oh, everything looks good. Okay, here's your 400. Or he might say, well, these 5 items might be done. You should get these done. They're a problem. Renovating, it's not like on TV, that's all fantasy, it's just, it's not exotic at all. It's I've been in a hammer, and during the pandemic, I lost everyone. I mean, it was me and a handyman. I was driving out to Carrollton, hour and a half, banging it out, putting up drywall. Then I was driving up to Jasper, Georgia, which is up in the mountains. That's a 2-hour drive. I'd work there in the afternoon until like 11 p.m. I get back in my car, drive an hour and a half home. Next day, do the same thing. Everyone was either, I'm too busy, or,
they were getting the unemployment check.
Yeah, we're not leaving the house. Oh my God. That was a little rough patch for me, for sure. So you got to be ready for it. And I really wasn't ready for it. Nobody was.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. But there's a lot of facets of renovation, and people do different renovations.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't pop the top, like they say, pop the top. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing that crap. And I seldom move walls, but if it makes sense and I can add more space or an extra bedroom or reconfigure a room so it's more efficient, I'll do that.
Right.
But I usually go in, what's there, I improve it, then I'm done.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I moved out here, or one of the reasons why I wanted to move out of Florida, is because I would do, out of those 25 houses, or basically the ones that I renovated, I would do about 90 to 95% of the work on the inside, do all the renovations myself.
Man.
The only thing I did not touch was roofing, and I had my countertop guys, and it was just easier to have them, do it. They already had the big slabs to pop them in there. And every time that I would get a house under contract, I would say, all right, yeah, I'm going to assign this one. And then as it, a week passes, for whatever reason, I'd always be like, no, I want to do this one. I'm like, why am I going to pay somebody this amount of money when I know I could do it in this, this amount of time? And then of course you get in there, and this amount of time turns into a lot longer than the time that you projected. But I mean, I still love doing that type of stuff, but I know my time was it was better spent somewhere else. But I would just always be a sucker for getting in there and doing the renovations.
Yeah, I know a lot of us probably, we get that where, we see a house. I've had investors tell me, I'm like, why are you over here working? Why are you working on this house? Or why are you even renovating it? It was just like, it just spoke to me. And I had to renovate it. It's just too cool of a house not to touch. I mean, my second year, I bought a house and I spent $90,000 on it, which was way over my budget. It had a pool, which Decatur wouldn't give me a permit to demo it. And I was all paranoid that, well, if I just fill it in with dirt, the inspector is going to come in. Where's the pool? Where's the permit? Oh, you got to dig it out. I didn't realize what I was doing, but so I fixed the pool. And the house was awesome. I wanted to buy it so bad.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. And I almost got creamed on it. But right before I put it on the market, like a 1/10 of a mile away, there was a house just like mine, 4-sided brick. This one had this huge pool. It was 12 feet deep. They don't even make those anymore, I don't think. Had this granite retaining wall that we cleaned up. And it was just phenomenal. And they're sold for like 30,000 higher than I thought. We go for. So like, there's my comp.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Right there.
Nice. That's always awesome too.
And the people that came in and bought it, which really made me kind of, sad. I mean, I'm glad they bought it, but they're like, yeah, this is our first house. I'm like, are you kidding me? I think it's a freaking gold mine. Like a 900 square foot top. And you're getting a giant pool. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's an investment. It wasn't where I wanted to live anyway. I mean, it was in Stone Mountain, but closer to 285. I liked the area a lot. But damn, man, it was like 9 months of agony. My contract kind of flaked on me, about 6 months into it. So it was me and another handyman banging it out for 3 months during the middle of summer.
Yeah.
I lost so much weight, man. It was just sweat. Pulling up vines out of the backyard and, just trying to get everything just right. So it happened.
Yeah.
I learned a huge lesson.
Nice. As we do. You're right. Those lessons are always fun to learn.
That's when I started taking rehab depot classes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I need to learn to negotiate better. I need to learn pricing. I need to learn all this other stuff like, hey, what's the flow looking like? And, we're 2 days behind. How are you going to make that up? I mean, I wouldn't know what to ask that. Oh, I don't know. How are we going to make it up? I mean, I don't know. You're the contractor. We're 2 days behind. It's not my fault. Time is money, dude. Every day that goes by. And I tell them up front, this is how much it's costing me every day to keep this house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I've, majority of those 25 houses, majority of those I've done a couple all-nighters in just to get to that deadline, right? Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, there's nothing like sanding walls and running your wet back and bad neighbors and
Yep.
Bad for them, but it's got to be done. And when you're there all day and it's always great to take that house that's in a subdivision or a community that's just it needs the work. And the other houses right around it.
Oh my gosh.
All of a sudden they've got this and they're like, oh, people have come over and said, oh, this looks so much better. I'm like, yeah, it does. You're
Yeah.
welcome. You know, how about you chipping in?
That is the best feeling. Yeah. And then next thing you know, you see them start doing little improvements and stuff, right?
I've seen that happen. You know, we'll get like 3 or 4 months in, and you know, because I like to get, you know, usually working on houses 3 or 4 months. This one over in Stone Mountain is going to be about a month, because most of the loans that they're giving out now are like 6 months, and from my hard money lenders. So it's
Yeah.
2 or 3 months rehab, then 2 or 3 months getting it on the
Yep.
market and under contract, and you know, people can leave, and now, oh, we got to get another buyer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Keith, what anything that you need from the community or any questions that you'd like to ask?
Well, I got a lot of questions. And I'm sure I know they're going to get answered. I'm just trying to work through the whole process, and there's so many ways to buy a house creatively. It's just mind-boggling, and I'm working on that. And but what, you know, I don't need anything. I really need to give more. You know, I'm trying to meet more people. I really haven't,
Yeah.
you know, touched out. I was at the Sub 2 Mastermind in May in Phoenix, and I
Oh,
met a
nice.
lot of people. And I met a couple of people today, and I met you.
Yeah.
I met one that lives around Athens, and she wants to do renovations. She's in Sub 2.
Oh,
So she's
wow.
coming down at the townhome on Saturday.
Oh,
And I'm like,
nice. Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, why don't you come down? You can see the process. I'll try and teach you, because I said, look, you don't want to renovate. You don't understand renovation. This one's not going to be that hard, but you know, you need to know the process. In fact, you know, I got this sheet that I got from Rehab Depot right here, which is the 50 steps of, you know, renovating
Nice.
a home.
Yep.
Which I didn't even know this was available. I didn't even know anything about this. I just did what you know, kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But if you can follow that, it'll be great. So anyway, I'll be meeting more people and calling you up. I'm sure I'll be calling you up about something
Yeah.
in the future.
Definitely. Definitely. And how can people find you, Keith?
See, well, they can call me or text me at 770-680-9145. And my email is Keith, Keith, period, Gereghty, and that's Gereghty. My freaking name's right there.
You're good.
At gmail.com. And, you know, I do have a Homvestor's email, but it's just like, you know, let's keep, you know, the worlds. I don't want worlds colliding.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yes,
But
sir.
you know,
Well,
DMing me is a lot better than emailing me, because I don't check it all that often, to be honest with you.
what did you say the phone number was again?
770-680-9145.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
You can just DM it to me.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Keith, it was an honor having you on the podcast today. I love learning about your journey, a little bit about it. I know there's a lot more there. I could sense it with all of the properties and the stories I'm sure that you have.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being on.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
All right.